Welcome to Story Time at the Rubus, a podcast about Bonnaroo. I'm Lacey.
And I'm Daniel. Lacey, I think we're recording for real now. How are you doing? What have you been up to?
Nothing much, just playing with my toys that I just got.
Oh, yeah? What kind of toys do you have?
I have a Barbie doll that I just got at a gas station, and there's some ducks at the table with hats and floaties and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I have some Play-Doh. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Now, I think some of those ducks are for you to give away to friends at Bonnaroo.
Yeah, and there's 2 ducks on trophies.
Oh, yeah. You know, that's one of my favorite things about Bonnaroo is like, you can always trade those little gifts with everybody. Do you remember when we went to Shaky Knees in Atlanta?
Yeah.
We were giving everybody those little spacemen figures. That was my little gift to everybody.
And I remember that I had a little hand.
Oh, yeah. A tiny hand on your finger?
Yeah.
Should we get you some more of those?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen where you can put a tiny hand on a tiny hand?
Nope, but I would love to.
It's an even tinier hand that goes on your tiny hand. We'll see if we can find you some. But yeah, that's a fun thing. You never know what little gifts people will have for you. Do you remember Mitchell?
Yeah.
He gives really funny little gifts. He keeps like little containers full of them that he gives to new friends.
Oh, yeah.
So like one thing he does is he has these little miniature Lego shovels and he'll give it to a new friend and say, "Hey man, I dig you."
That's funny.
It's his funny joke. Now, let's talk with everybody about this. You are finally about to come to your first Bonnaroo in 2 months. Are you excited?
Super excited.
Oh, yeah? What all do you think you want to do?
Go see concerts, go on the water slide, go on the Ferris wheel.
Ooh, sometimes you're afraid of heights. You're not going to chicken out, are you?
Maybe not.
You don't think so?
Not.
That water slide is really tall.
But there was one at my school like that, so I'm used to it.
How tall was it?
Like, as tall as the one that I saw on the photo.
Oh, yeah? Well, I think the one that you're going to see at Bonnaroo is a little taller. What about the Ferris wheel? You're not going to chicken out, are you?
Maybe not, but...
You know the fun time to go on the Ferris wheel?
I might be afraid whenever it goes up to the top, but...
Oh, yeah? It goes all the way to the top. You can see the McDonald's sign over the trees once you get up there. It's kind of crazy.
That's funny.
I know. But you know what is really cool? My favorite time to go on the Ferris wheel is at night when there's an EDM concert happening right underneath. And you can see everybody partying and all the lasers underneath you. Would you like to try that?
Yeah. And I can't wait to go on the water slide.
I want to see you go down the water slide. I hope you're not going to chicken out. You chickened out of a water slide like that when I took you to a water park last summer. Do you think you're braver now?
Yes.
I think you can do it.
Because I'm older.
Yeah. You're a little taller these days, too. You're sprouting up. Now, tell everybody, what concerts are you excited to see?
Olivia Rodrigo, King Giz, and Glass Animals, and everything else.
Everything else. You might find some new stuff that you didn't know about before.
Oh, no.
Actually, you know, we're talking to a band this week. We're talking to our new friend from the band, the Crumbsnatchers from Nashville. He's going to be on here in just a little bit. I think that we're going to go see them first on Thursday. They're playing before Cinderoo opens, so like kind of that afternoon. We got some tea from him on this. I talked to him earlier when you were in here playing with your toys. We're going to edit that into the podcast. What do you think?
Yeah, so exciting.
I know, right? What else do you want to do besides the concerts? Are we going to hang out with all of our friends?
Yeah.
Yeah? What do you want to do?
Talk to everybody.
Yeah?
Yeah, and, yeah.
Trade gifts. We're going to have a special kids drink at the Monkey Bar just for you. What kind of drink would you like to have and share with
lemonade.
Ooh, is that your favorite?
Yeah.
Yeah. You had your first Celsius about an hour ago. I feel like I might live to regret that before too long. How was that?
Good.
Yeah? Those will help you stay up all night. Are you going to be able to stay up till the sun comes up?
Of course.
Duh,
girly.
Have you done that before? Have you stayed up all night?
Duh, girly.
Okay, all right. King Gizzard might be playing until the sun comes up. Are we in for the whole show?
Yeah.
Are you excited?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, you like some other stuff, too. You like a lot of EDM, right?
Yeah.
I'm really excited for you to see The Other. It has, like, crazy lasers and lights. It's almost like riding a roller coaster. But different. I mean, there's not an actual car that goes up and down loops and stuff. But it feels like it. Are you ready for that?
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. All right. So, Lacey, me and Sharla are going to edit in just a little bit so we can thank all of our friends that help our totem thing here in just a little bit. And then we're going to talk to our buddy from the Crumbsnatchers and then we're going to be back for just a minute after that. Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go.
Hey everyone, this is Sharla here, and big thanks to Loopy Lacey for joining us.
Yeah, we have tried to do that in the past. I tried to have her on about a year or so ago when she was staying the weekend with us, but she was a little shy. She didn't really want to talk a lot, but clearly that wasn't a problem this time around.
Oh no, she's definitely gotten a little bit more outspoken than before.
Yeah, well, that's not a problem for her. She's a loud kid. A lot of people think that is my kid because she talks just as much as me and is loud like me.
Of course.
Yeah, but, let's go ahead and talk about this for a moment. So, yeah, she's coming this year, but it took a lot to convince me that she was ready. The big thing that convinced me was taking her to Shaky Knees in Atlanta about this time last year. She did very well. She had a great time. She didn't run out of energy. She never really complained. The only thing she complained about that there was no EDM at Shaky Knees. She really is into that, apparently.
And this will be her 4th festival.
Yeah, so she did Forecastle in Louisville and Shaky Knees twice now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she's been to some other things, too. We went to see an EDM show at the Orion here in Huntsville. She had a great time. And that was one example where I saw that she was ready for something like this because we were there for about 20 minutes and she turns around to me. She says, "This is just too loud. Can we go outside for a little bit?"
Mm-hmm.
So we did. There's some cool statues right outside the Orion in their little pavilion out there. She loved that. Went to get a picture with it and climbed on some things. And then she's like, "Okay, I'm ready to go back in now."
Yeah.
Went back in for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
She tapped out after a little bit. She kind of did the same thing at Shaky Knees. We would get close enough to the pit. She was safe. She had a great time. She loved Queens of the Stone Age. She was headbanging and stuff. But then after about a half hour of that, she was like, "Okay, can we go to the back now?" And we went back there, and she's playing with her little toys and having a great time. Which, by the way, if you have little knickknacks to give her when you see her at Rue, she will love that. That will entertain her all day.
Mm-hmm.
That's her favorite, finding little things, little toys. She talked about some of her little toys in that little interview that we did, right?
Oh, yes. Oh my goodness. She loves minis. I think miniatures are like a big thing now.
Yeah, I see her looking at YouTube videos of like people opening miniatures.
Yes. Well, I think that's been a thing for like a few years now. It's like
Yeah.
miniatures and like opening things specifically.
Yeah. Talking with her and hearing her talk about like Fortnite things and things that she finds on YouTube kind of keeps me plugged into, what is she, Gen Y? I've lost track.
Gen Alpha.
Gen Alpha, yes.
Well, it goes Gen Alpha and then Gen Beta, I guess is like even a
I
be a
can't
thing?
keep
I
up.
don't know,
I can't
but
keep up at this
yeah.
point. But yeah, some of this YouTube stuff she talks about, is insane. Like the biggest one that I hear about is Ninja Kids. She talks about that
She
one
talks
a
about
ton.
Ninja Kids and somebody named Peyton all the time.
Who's Peyton?
I don't know who Peyton is. And she also talks about Amy Wu.
Yeah, I don't know that one
Yeah,
at all.
mm.
But like, she has hinted that she wants to be a YouTuber. She wants to do reviews
Yeah.
and talk about places that she goes. So if she pays attention and if she's interested once we get there, I'm going to get her to do like a little video where she's giving a tour to other kids her age of Bonnaroo. Because,
That'd be cool, yeah.
kind of like we were talking about, I think if your kid is mature enough and, they're able to handle that and they know that some things aren't for them when they see something that's too crazy, I don't think it's the worst place for a kid. You just have to know your kid and know that they're ready.
So I think a big part of it depends on what the parents want to give up because you're going to be giving up a part of your Bonnaroo.
Yeah, I am, and I'm okay with that because I want to
big
show her a
part
good
of it,
time. Yeah. I mean, I'm very lucky that she really is, unironically, totally into going to all these King Giz shows. Like, she really is into it. Like, she sends me YouTube videos of things that she finds from King Giz shows, and she's so excited for that. And she's been talking about glass animals for years. She wants to go to a lot of EDM at the other. So I really do think she is in for a lot of this. She certainly was at the couple of shows that she's been to. But yet, not all kids are. Not all our kids are into like live music like she is. So, it really depends.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I certainly wouldn't recommend it to everybody. I know that I am giving up a lot of what I normally would do, some that I won't talk about in the podcast. But it's okay to me because this kid, she lives in very rural Alabama. She goes to the same K-12 school that me and Charla went to. I know that she's not getting a ton of opportunities to do cool things. So I want to make sure that she does.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
Where Daniel and I grew up, and where I grew up specifically, there's not a lot there.
No.
I mean, it really is extreme rural area, and it very, very extreme rural area. I mean, you have to drive miles and miles and miles, 30, 40, an hour out of the way, to do anything at all, to go to the nearest mall, to go to, a super center,
it's
Walmart
like a
super center. And
20-minute drive from her house to the dollar store.
right,
That should tell you something.
Right, exactly. And, just for her to have these types of opportunities. And, that's one of the reasons that Daniel wants to bring her and, give her these types of opportunities.
Yeah, this is her thing. Like, our niece and nephews, like, each of them take after a little part of us.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, Lacey is into live music, and Reese, the middle child that's named after my grandpa, he's, like, really into baseball. So,
Mm-hmm.
he's been to a Braves game. He's gone to a lot of Trash Pandas games over here. The youngest, we're still kind of letting him figure out what he's about. But once he figures out
I think
that...
his thing is going to be playing music.
Playing music? Oh, really? You think so?
Yeah.
Oh, well, we got a lot in store for him then, if that's the case, for Little Branch. But yeah, I just want to talk about that for a little bit. I have seen kids at Bonnaroo. We've had friends that have brought kids, sometimes just with a day pass. I think if your kid is ready for it, if they are at a good mental point, if they're mentally mature, if they're able to handle the physical toll that it can take, and she goes a mile a minute, they're ready. That's not for every kid. Sometimes you got to wait a little longer, I think. But she's proven to me the past couple of years she's ready. And if we get there in a couple of days, she's putting up a fuss, we have an escape plan. Her dad can come pick her up.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure she's going to be just fine. So you will hear more from Lacey here in just a little bit. But we got a couple other things to talk about. As Lacey and I talked about, we're going to talk to the frontman Guetts of Crumbsnatchers here in a little bit. But first, before we get to that, we need to thank our Patreons.
Absolutely.
I was going to have Lacey read the list, but she would not have been able to get through that. She was just like, what are we doing?
Okay, so on our Patreons, I just want to say thank you, everyone. It's just incredible. Your donations will absolutely go to help out our scholarship recipients, to get them camping supplies, to get them everything they need to have a successful Bonnaroo. And we just cannot thank you guys enough. So I'll go ahead and read the list. John, Lexi, Isaac, Danny, Lisa, Butter Crew, Nick, Delaney, Molly, John with the Texas Roo Crew, Brady, I Am Rave Dad, Taylor, Courtney, Casey with the Texas Roo Crew, Christy, Charmel, Jums, David and Aurora, String Bean, Sack and Jeremy, Amber, Andrea, JB, Sam, Austin, James, Hygiene Queen, Chris and Shy, Dan, Ernst, Harris, Keith, Casey, Andrew, Amanda, Nick, Maddie, McFerg, Kent, Randy, Bosco, Eric and Ben, Evan, Jay, Chloe, and Sean.
Thank you, everyone. As you probably know already, you can find that at patreon.com/Rubus. Every penny goes to the Totem Foundation. In fact, I want to give a shout out to our crew that is interviewing our scholarship finalist as we speak, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So we should be able to introduce our scholarship recipients for 25 here in the next couple of weeks. I also want to shout out all of our mentors and mentees. We had our first call for some of them the other night. We are doing the next one this Tuesday. So if you missed the one this past Thursday, we're doing one tonight. As you are listening to this, it might be a different day.
Tuesday, yeah.
Yeah, Tuesday the 14th. It is at 7 p.m. Central /farm time on our Discord.
Farm time, I like that.
Yeah, Central time. So if you want to hear what we got going on as a mentor or mentee, or if you're just a friend of the show and want to tune in anyways and hear what we're up to, tune into our Discord voice channel at 7 p.m. Central on Tuesday the 14th. We'd love to have you there, and we'll tell you all about what we're up to this year. So here in just a minute, we're going to go ahead and talk to Guetts, the front man for Crumbsnatchers. I learned a lot in this episode. I thought I did my homework and learned a little bit about them, but it turns out they have a history at Bonnaroo, and they are some hardcore Ruvians just like the rest of us. So I'm so glad that they reached out to us and wanted to talk with us. There's a lot of fun stuff that you're going to hear in this talk that I had with Guetts, so let's go ahead and jump to it. Welcome back, everyone. I am glad to have an official Root artist on this episode with us. You can go check them out at the Who stage this coming Roo. I have some guests from Crumbsnatchers on this week. Can you introduce yourself, good sir?
Hello, everyone. Yes, my name is Guetterman of the band Crumbsnatchers. Happy to be here.
All right. Now, you guys are in the Nashville area, so I feel like you are probably no strangers to Bonnaroo. Have any of you guys like been there as fans in the past number of years?
Oh, definitely. I've been a Bonnaroo attendee for many years. This will be my 13th Bonnaroo.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's kind of in spitting range of like where me and my wife are at. We're kind of like at 11, 12. It's kind of hard to keep up since we had a couple of pandemic years.
Definitely.
That's cool, man. That's so cool to know that you're like such a veteran. Like, tell me a little bit about some of your favorite shows that you've seen there over the years.
I'd say it's a three-way tie between Paul McCartney, Radiohead, and Animal Collective.
Oh, so you were
Um,
really big on that 2013 year. That was
yeah,
awesome, dude.
for sure.
Yeah. Paul McCartney, I feel like that is a core memory for everybody that was there that year. Like, where were you in the crowd that night?
I was in the heat of it. I remember it was funny. I remember I was standing there for a good while waiting for it. I remember I actually passed. I like locked my knees for too long, and I passed out right before he came on. It was like the anticipation was like I don't know what was going on, but I just like got lightheaded and I passed out. And someone handed me some water and stood me back up. And as soon as I kind of like regained awareness, like he came out, I was like, "Okay, let's go!" Like,
That's funny. I remember that very specific moment. Not that, because I wasn't with you, obviously, but like
yeah,
I was not in the pit, but on the rail behind the pit. And you might remember, or maybe you don't, since you were kind of out of it. They played kind of a medley of Beatles hits right before he came out.
yes, I do remember that. That's
Yeah.
about when I started feeling woozy, started
Yeah.
feeling lightheaded.
At that point, I like reverted to being like 10 or 11 years old. I was kind of like bouncing around like a little kid, like, oh my God, we're about to see a Beatle.
Yeah,
Such a magical night.
yeah,
I
definitely.
was at a bit of that Animal Collective show too. Were you there when the guy from Police Academy came out and did like the weird sound effects and stuff to introduce them?
Yes, yes.
The crowd's so hyped in such a weird way.
So hype. It was such a great. I've seen Animal Collective a few times in different venues and different scenarios. That was by far my favorite. Like they played a lot of old stuff from
Yeah.
Fields, and it was like all my favorite Animal Collective stuff
That's so
that they
cool,
did.
man. I hadn't realized that you had been to Rue so many times already. So it sounds like you're already pretty intertwined with the community. Can you tell a little bit about some of the other fun stuff that you've done that wasn't necessarily at a show?
Um, y- um, yeah. I mean, I guess there's like repeat people that I see multiple years in a row. I remember there's this guy Jack from Canada that I would see every year for many years. We'd always just run into each other. We wouldn't even like schedule a meetup. It's just like it was like I'm just gonna see Jack from Canada this year. I know it's not fun. I'm just gonna see him in the crowd, and he's gonna like, and he was always like handing out gifts and things like that. Um, um, yeah, I've been to Bonner as a volunteer. I've paid GA. I've been a staff member. I played guitar once with Nordista Freeze at the Who stage a couple years ago. I've snuck in before when I couldn't get a ticket. Um, yeah, it's been a great thing to look forward to every year.
I love that story about running into your friend because that happens so many times to each of us. Like a lot of us have friends that we camp out with that obviously we're going to see like every day. But
Hmm.
inevitably you run into somebody that you have kind of sort of get to know. Like you don't have to plan a meetup. You know that it's just going to naturally happen, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's one of the best things about getting intertwined into a community. You kind of sort of know everybody. That's funny. You
Yeah,
and I have probably crossed paths so many times and didn't even realize it, you know?
probably.
So you've run every bit of the gamut when it comes to like doing things at Rue, like as far as where you camp or working. Like, what was some of your best experiences on either side, either as kind of a sort of staff member or as a camper?
Um, as far as the just like the camping experience,
Yeah.
um, or I mean, like playing a couple years playing guitar was like one of the most magical things ever. I remember, and then volunteering in the back 60
Yeah.
many years ago, probably 2010, 2011. Like on the last night. everybody used to make a big bonfire. And I don't think anybody does that anymore. I don't think they allow it,
Yeah,
but
that's
um,
a little
uh,
dangerous some years. Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But I remember like my early years volunteering, like all the volunteers would like have a big bonfire the last night, and I remember like singing songs around the campfire at the on like a Sunday night at Bonnaroo. My first few years was pretty magical. Um, uh, yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about your show this year. And I kind of want to start at the beginning. So tell us a little bit about the origin story of Crumbsnatchers. How long have you guys been playing?
We started. We first formed back in probably 2013, 2014, around that time, with just my close buddy Philip Mosteller, who has been a close friend of mine since we were probably 10 years old. Um, and me and a couple guys and a couple other guys, Sam Birchfield and Rylan Bledsoe, uh, formed back then and started working on an album. Bonnaroo was always like a goal we would talk about, like maybe in a couple years we can play Bonnaroo. Maybe we'll play Bonnaroo in a couple years. Let's make this album, and that was always like kind of something we always wanted to do. But yeah, it started as just a group of friends in Knoxville, Tennessee, like that we had all kind of been in different projects before, but hadn't really played with each other. But yeah, we just kind of started playing shows in Knoxville at the Pilot Light, uh, at the Well, at Preservation Pub, at Scruffy City Hall. Um, yeah,
So I
that's
was going to
that's
ask you about that. You guys are in Nashville these days. Those were some good
yeah.
Nashville venues. What are some of your favorites to play in Nashville?
Some of the favorites to play in Nashville are the OG Basement is an incredible venue. It's been there for a long time. Basement East is awesome when we get to play there. The East Room is an incredible spot. We've had great shows at the Five Spot. Uh,
Yes, I love that spot. It's just across the road from Rosemary's that we were talking about earlier before we were recording.
that's right. Yeah. We got to do a really cool thing at Third and Lindsley this past September, where they partner with Lightning 100 and and do this like live broadcast thing over the radio. It's a lot of fun, and so that was really cool and really special. But in Nashville's crazy because there's so many iconic, historic venues that have been doing their thing for so long
Yeah.
and have stayed independent. Exit In was one of those that stayed independent for a long time. And we got to play there before um, it got bought up, but there's so many in Nashville. It's hard to think of them all at once.
You mentioned something else too that I want to give a shout out. Lightning 100 has been an alt station that has somehow survived, and they have done so much over the years to support like local music. I really missed the Live on the Green shows that they did over there in front of that
Hmm.
courthouse. Saw so many good shows for free over there.
Yes.
It always surprises so many people when they come from out of the area and come down to Nashville and then find out that it's not just like honky tonk cover bands. And
Yeah.
I love seeing people suddenly come to that realization like, oh, you've got a bunch of like grungy alt bands here too.
Yeah. Definitely. Um. Oh yeah, I remember seeing Alabama Shakes at the Live on the Green many years ago.
Yeah.
I remember driving from Knoxville at one point to see Matt and Kim. Uh,
Oh, I was at that show. That's so funny.
really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, that was also one of the most magical shows that I've ever seen at Bonnaroo and I think that's how how at Bonnaroo you'll just hear people burst out randomly and start singing oh baby
Yeah.
you got what I need, that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I, and I could be wrong about this, but I believe Matt and Kim started that like in
Yes.
2010
Yes.
or 2011 at that show at the other tent or this tent or that tent, one of the tent stages. They would they would just do that randomly throughout their set, and they like the entire. I remember I crowd surfed at that show and Bonnaroo put my picture up on the front page of the website, and me and all my friends were like, "Oh, he's on the Bonnaroo website," and but yeah, I remember everybody leaving walking away from that tent going, "Oh baby, you got what I need," and people still do that at Bonnaroo to this day, like 15
Yeah.
years later.
No, dude, I'll tell you, like right after we started coming back after the pandemic, it kind of felt like that tradition was kind of fading out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And me and a bunch of our crew that, have been for like over a decade at this point was like, oh hell no, we're not letting this one go away. So we would be
Absolutely.
in line to go through the arch or in a big crowd waiting on a show and then just start screaming that like a bunch of idiots. Like, no, that
Yeah.
tradition ain't going nowhere, man.
Yes, absolutely.
We're gonna
Thank
make
you for your service, keeping that alive.
No, thank you for yours because I mean, you're living the dream, man. You had been going for so many years. You're intertwined in the community. Now you're going to be playing this new Who stage. We'll talk about that here in just a few moments. But I want to get to the music that you guys are playing. So you were talking about some of the bands that you had been to see live at some of these places. I want to hear like what kind of music
Yeah.
inspired the sound that you guys are playing.
I feel like when I first started making music, my biggest influences were bands like Nirvana, the Pixies, Talking Heads, kind of like new wave bands and bands that were inspired by new wave and punk rock and different things like that. That's kind of been enveloped by this like indie rock label of a genre. But those were the bands that first really inspired me, and I still feel like we have a callback to some of those sounds, but it's kind of a loud, rambunctious rock and roll show, and we're stoked to be able to play, especially at the time slot that we have, because it's kind of on Thursday before Centeroo opens, and
Really? Okay, that's some news. We hadn't heard about that. I don't want to like put you in a position where you have to break any sort of NDA, but it sounds like you're going to be playing like Thursday afternoonish.
that's right.
All right.
And it's going to be before Centeroo opens, and it's going to be the new Who stage. In years past, Who stage has been inside Centeroo, but this new Who stage is going to be kind of closer to the Grove,
Okay.
where all the hammocks have been, and so we're stoked on the slot because nothing will have happened yet. It'll be like the first day of Bonnaroo, so our set's going to be kind of like this rambunctious party / countdown to the beginning of Bonnaroo.
I love it.
And
That's a
so,
great spot too because the Grove Plaza is not super far no matter where you're at. It's kind of sort of centrally located. It's like maybe like a 10 or 15-minute walk from the House of Yes. It's just a 10-minute walk from where we're at in the group area. So yeah, I'm there. I'm at your show. That's a perfect spot because we love going over there to chill out in the hammocks and stuff in those trees with the weird trippy statues and everything.
oh, absolutely. You ever gotten to do sound bath over there around 11 or 11 a.m. or noon?
I've never done that.
It's so fun. Like I did it for the first time a couple years ago, and there was these like people dressed up in these crazy costumes, like these creatures walking around while this like ambient music played, and people were just meditating, and there was uh, like a bunch of children that were totally entranced by these creatures, these characters, and me too. And it was really cool. I hope they do that this year.
Wait a minute, you're talking about these creatures. I was just talking with somebody about this on the show a few weeks ago. Were they green aliens? Do you remember those?
Green aliens?
There was a group of green aliens that
Hmm.
were walking around everywhere in like 22 or 23. I can't remember exactly what year, but
There
yeah.
was they definitely had some green on. They weren't like classic like big eye green aliens, but they could definitely be considered otherworldly.
Yeah. I
Um,
think we're thinking about the same thing. I remember seeing them too. I was like, is this real? Is this really happening right now?
uh-huh.
But I love
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. So yeah, our early Thursday before Centeroo opens, I feel like that's a no-brainer. There's going to be a ton of people camped around you. Yeah, bring the noise. Make people have to come see you, dude.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about like the story about how you got booked for Rue. Like obviously it was a goal for you because you've been going so many years, and you talked about how that was a goal for the band. Like, hey, let's do this and let's get booked for Rue. When did you find out? Like, what was kind of like your feeling when you realized it was going to happen this year?
Well, we submitted to play um, several months ago, and then the lineup came out. We're like, okay. We hadn't heard anything. But we knew the Who stage lineup had not come out yet, so maybe we'll get that. But we were on tour, and we were in Birmingham, Alabama. This was several weeks ago, and I remember I was taking a nap in the back bench of the van when our tour manager woke me up, and I was like kind of like literally shook and awake. And I was like, "Huh? What?" And then our tour manager said, "Hey, check your text messages." And it was just a text message that said Bonnaroo offer in hand, and we're like, I woke up immediately. Yeah! It was a big celebratory moment during nap time, and yeah.
I love those stories. Like I'm a big baseball guy, so I'm always a sucker for these videos and stories about when somebody gets called up to the majors, and it feels like
Yeah.
it's a bit of an analog when you get booked to Bonnaroo. You feel like you're like getting the call, man. I love that.
Yes, absolutely. That's a little bit what I felt like.
So one last question for you. Like
Hmm.
I feel like so many bands like really get Bonnaroo. Like they come and they're part of the community. They do some other fun stuff. They're not just there for their set and immediately get on the bus and get out of there. Like I feel
Yeah.
like that's you guys. So I want to hear like what else do you have planned as a band, but also as a fan this year? Like what are you looking forward to? What bands do you want to see? What other nonsense do you want to get into?
Um, uh, we're gonna definitely get up to a lot of nonsense. We plan on camping. I remember they sent us an email like, "Oh yeah, these are the hotel accommodation options." We were like, "Absolutely not. We are camping. We're going to be in the trenches. We're going to go completely feral and have a great time." We're planning some wild stuff for our set, just because we want it to be. We want to go a little extra for this one, and we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have some chaos. Um, but I'm really stoked just like to see Tyler the Creator. I think that's going to be an awesome set. I'm stoked to see the Infinity stage and just like see what that's about
Yeah.
this year. Stoked to see our homies in Post Sex Nachos play the Infinity stage. That's going to be dope. Um, and King Gizzard,
I was gonna say,
316.
I hope to
Yeah.
see you there. I plan on not missing a second of those three sets if I can get away with it. I'm really hoping there's not a heartbreaking conflict with one of those.
Yes, that would be heartbreaking. Hopefully they'll like schedule that with us in mind and
Yeah,
not put
yeah. The only one
it.
I'm really worried about is I'm afraid that King Gizzard is going to conflict with Justice. Like I may have to
Uh-huh.
jump back and forth between the two if they do that, but we'll see.
Hey, if you miss one King Gizzard show, there's two more
I
to catch.
know. Well, look, I've been chasing down them playing Head on Pill. I've seen them a number of times, but haven't
Yeah,
seen them play that song live. So I'm
yeah.
figure we're gonna get it. It's just a mystery as to when, what set, you know.
Hmm.
Now, speaking of that, like, do you guys ever do like any covers, or is it just like all original when you play your set?
A lot of times it's I'd say like 90% of the time it's all originals. Occasionally we do a cover, and I've been thinking about doing a cover for this set and what song it would be. I haven't landed on anything, but we've covered songs like we like to cover songs that are like just fun for us. You know, like we've covered "Win in Rome," "The Promise" by Win in Rome. Do you know that song?
Yeah, I
Uh,
think I remember that.
it's at the end of. A lot of people recognize it from the end of Napoleon Dynamite. It's the I'm
Yes,
sorry,
yes.
I'm just thinking of the right words to say.
That
You
is
know,
a great song. Yeah, now I remember more specifically.
that
Yes.
one's fun. We've covered a Pixie song before. We've covered Magnetic Fields. That song Andrew and Drag we love to play sometimes. Um, but I'm thinking about bringing a cover on, but I'm not sure what it's going to be yet.
You made me think about that because you were talking about Matt and Kim doing the cover of that Bismarcky song.
Yeah,
Like, I feel like a lot of bands that like get it, they will pull out like a really great cover out of their back pocket. That one from Napoleon Dynamite is a good one.
that one's always so much fun. Like, and people, it's one where people don't remember that they know it until they hear it. They're like, "Oh, I know every word." You know?
Yes, yes. Our friends in the band Flip Turn have done that a little bit. They played the song "Everybody Wants to Rule the World," and
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that's one of those kind of songs. Everybody remembers it, even if you don't remember it.
absolutely. That's one of the greatest songs ever made. We love the Flip Turn guys. Those are good friends of ours.
Yeah, they played our party a couple of years ago that we do on Wednesday, which, by the way, if you're there early enough, you should come down and come hang with us over in the group area next to the bus. We've got a fun thing planned.
Absolutely. What day is that?
Wednesday, I can tell everybody else too. It
Yeah.
is from 4 until basically until we're done with it, a little past midnight. So we've got a good
Nice.
lineup. And Jason from Cherub, I'm sure you know from the Nashville area, is headlining for us that night.
Very cool. Yeah, that'll be awesome. You
Yeah,
will
dude.
see us there.
Come down. Come to that show. We'll come to yours. I'll make you a deal.
That sounds great.
Yeah. Well, dude, thank you so much for coming on with me today. I was already excited to hear you guys live, but after some of the stuff you just told me, I'm dying to be there. I am going to be there. I think that's a perfect spot out in the campgrounds for you to be right before Cinderoo opens is perfect. You can kind of be the grand opening to Cinderoo this year. That's so fun, dude.
Yes, we are so stoked.
Well, Goots, can you tell us any other way people can follow up to find your music? Do you guys point anybody at like a YouTube or anything like that?
Absolutely. Like we've got a few music videos up on YouTube. You can follow us on Instagram. That's probably the most consistent place we post and like updates for what we're doing for tours, for music coming out. Just following us on Instagram, follow us on Spotify. We also have a physical mailing list where we mail people letters and people mail us back letters. So if you like pen pals, you can go on our Instagram and go into our link tree and sign up for a physical mailing list. We also just released a single this past Friday. Valedictorian just came out on Friday. If people want to check out, the newest music of what we're putting out right now, it's Valedictorian just came out on Friday.
Hell yeah, man. We'll play a little snippet of it on the show so everybody can check you out.
Very cool. Thank you.
Yeah. So again, Thursday, right before Cinderoo opens, go see Crumbsnatchers. I'm going to get my crew. We're going to be there, dude.
Let's go. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Goots. It's a pleasure having you on today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Crumbsnatchers.
Are you excited for that show?
Yes.
You got to meet Goots after our interview, too. You saw him? He had long hair and a crazy mustache. He's a cool guy, yeah.
Yeah.
He's been working really hard with his band to be able to play Bonnaroo. I think he's really excited, so we need to go and support them and go see their show, right?
Yeah.
They're playing at a really cool place called The Grove. There's a bunch of...
Grove.
Yeah, you can hang in a hammock there, and there's a bunch of crazy statues. You want to go try that?
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to just chill out at Bonnaroo after things have been a little too crazy. That sound good?
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of people that want to chill and hang with you at camp, too.
Yeah.
Are you excited for the party that we're going to have on Wednesday right next to the bus?
Yeah. Definitely.
I already told you, I think you need to hang out with Jason from Cherub. He probably wants to meet you, too. That sound good? Definitely. I agree. Well, Lacey, thank you so much for being on this episode with us. You've been very good. We tried doing this a year or two ago, and you were a little too shy, but you have not been at all today. I'm proud of you.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to be acting this crazy once we get to the farm?
Nope.
No? Why not? That's the place to be crazy.
I mean, I am going to be crazy, but not shy.
Oh, good. Good, Noah.
I'm not going to be like...
No, everybody you meet at Bonnaroo is your best friend. So many people are excited to meet you.
I get to be
Yeah?
popular.
You get to be popular? I think you already are, yeah. But we have to trade little gifts with everybody. What kind of little gifts would you like to see?
I don't know.
You don't know? We
Like-
got to get you some that cheese pizza again, too, from Spicy Pie. You ate that at Shake and Ease and liked it a lot, didn't you? Yeah. We'll get you a lot. We'll get you a lot of that. I know you're a picky eater. You got to have your cheese pizza. Speaking of which, you have some cheese pizza in the oven right now. You want to go get it?
Yeah.
All
buddy
right.
boy.
We'll tell everybody bye. We'll see them at the
Bye,
farm.
buddies. I'll see you at the farm.
Okay, big thank you to Guetts. We look forward to seeing Crumbsnatchers.
Yeah, we got a little tea on at least their portion of the schedule. So, again, like you heard in that, I plan on going to see them over at the Grove Plaza right before Cinderoo opens on Thursday.
Oh, I'll be there.
Yeah, they're kind of doing what he called a grand opening.
Ooh.
We'll just go with that. That's a great spot for that.
It
We
is.
got to see Corey and Boot Scootin' Boogie Nights over there at that same location last year to kind of open things up on, what was it, Wednesday night?
It was on Wednesday at the Galactic Dip.
Yeah, they're moving that, if I recall. I haven't really dug into the map just yet.
I
To
don't
be
know.
honest,
The
I'm
map
waiting.
hadn't come out yet, but
Yeah, and it's looking like the schedule is going to come out this week, probably.
Yeah.
At least that's what the owl has been hinting at. Unless anything delays it, it looks like it's very possible it's going to come out Tuesday. So maybe we'll talk about that on that Tuesday totem call. We might have to do like a little special episode during the week to talk about that and run through it as well.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Would you be down for that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we might do that Tuesday after we do the totem call thing. Now, I want to end the episode by raising a question. And I asked our friends on Discord about this a couple of hours before we recorded. I just kind of want to get a feel for the room a little bit. So, as you know, Coachella Weekend 1 is happening as we speak. We've been watching some of the Coachella live streams. In fact, Lacey really enjoyed watching Lisa the other night. She was locked into that. She thought that was the coolest thing.
La Lisa?
Yeah, with all their outfits and dance moves and everything. She was like laser focused on that. It was amazing. Hardly anything gets her that focused. So that was impressive.
Yeah.
But anyways, the big talk has been Lady Gaga's show. I have been very vocal in the past. I wish Rue could get her. I don't think they can afford her.
It's definitely not going to happen in 26.
I don't think so. But that show that Gaga put on at Coachella was insane. Andrew, who we just had on the show last week, had a good comment that was basically like if you extended a Super Bowl halftime show for a full headliner performance. It was just nuts, the crazy things that she was doing. Here's my question for you, and I want your genuine opinion before, I give you mine. How does Rue compare to Coachella at this point? And I know there's a lot of different aspects that you can contrast and compare, but I want to hear in your mind, how do you feel about that?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, you personally.
Okay. Are you asking me or the people?
No, I'm asking Truman the dog that's sitting here with you. No, tell me. Like, what's your opinion?
It's apples and oranges. I don't think you can compare. It's just way too different to even possibly compare that.
It is. Like, when you look at the bare bones, there's a lot of similarities. Like, there's camping, there's 3 or 4 days of performances.
Oh, it's just no. It's not even. You can't compare that.
Well, there are things where Bonnaroo is certainly better. I would take the community at Bonnaroo over Coachella any day of the week. That is certainly
But you don't know that
our
because
strong
you've never
point.
been there. You only know what you're hearing
Yeah,
about.
I know.
That's like people that look at pictures of Burning Man and think that that's Burning Man.
That's very true. That's very true. That's a very good point. I would like to try it one of these days. Realistically, this would have been the year that I would have liked to have gone because I really would have liked to have seen that Gaga set.
Clearly.
But we just have like so many other travels going on. It just wasn't a possibility. One day I would like to go if there is somebody really good. Like if Coachella got tame and we didn't, I would really consider that, going back over there, especially because, presumably if Tame is playing headlining performances like that, it would be promoting a new
We actually
album.
had last year, one of our scholarship winners had been to Coachella before.
Yeah.
And she had like found a ride and somehow or whatever. And anyways, we asked her at the end of Bonnaroo, she said, well, how does it compare? And she said, there's room for both of them.
Yeah, I think that's very true. Like I said, I think there's pros and cons. Like the campground experience is probably infinitely better at Rue than it is at Coachella. But I'm telling you, I'm looking at this stuff at their main stage. You know what Gaga did the other night and what Green Day did last night. And I can't help but feel very, very, very jealous of Coachella's star pooling power and their production value.
How much is a ticket to Coachella?
I think it's roughly the same price, maybe a little bit more if I recall correctly. I never really have looked into it because I haven't seriously considered going. It's just been kind of a curiosity to this point, But when you look at that giant stage and you look at how they were easily able to pull Gaga, which is just out of the question for Rue, realistically, you can't help but feel like Rue is a little bit of a little brother festival to Coachella sometimes when it comes to those things. And I just don't know that we will ever be back to that point. I think there was a brief moment in time where we were in that ballpark when McCartney came, when U2 came, but I just don't know that those days will ever be back, and I just don't know that we can ever reach those heights that Coachella is.
Oh, okay. I mean, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But it's a give and take. Like, we have a better community, a better campground experience,
I
but
definitely see what you're saying.
we'll never have that main stage experience. And I would like to experience, like, the top tier headliner at that big stage one of these days.
Exactly.
And
I mean, we used to have when you say it like that, when you say, "Oh, well, we once had Paul McCartney
Yeah.
and U2, and now we have
Luke Combs.
Hozier
Yeah.
or whoever." I don't even know who that. I couldn't even tell you who's playing this year.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, that's just to say that the lineup doesn't matter to us that much these
Yeah.
days. Yeah.
I mean, when you say it like that,
You know, and maybe I'm just jealous because I've been seeing that on YouTube the past couple of nights,
right?
But I don't know. I know that you and many other people that talked about this on our Discord and our scholarship recipient from last year are right. It's apples and oranges. There's room for both. They're two different experiences. I don't think there is that much in the middle section of the Venn diagram of people who want to or could go to both, who are making their decision based on the lineups for each of those because
Right.
they're on opposite ends of the country.
Mm-hmm.
They serve slightly different demographics.
Right.
In the past, online or probably on the podcast, when I've made jokes that I don't remember at the time, I've joked about how, it's, like Nepo babies and trust fund kids at Coachella. That's really inaccurate, and I really shouldn't make those jokes because it's like when we were talking about Burning Man. A lot of people think that Burning Man is full of like the influencers, and that's just not the case. So that's probably not the case at Coachella either.
Yeah, no, because people will see pictures of Burning Man all over, especially all over Instagram, and they think that's what Burning Man is, and
It's not.
1,000% not
So
at all.
Those Coachella stereotypes are probably very untrue as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So one of these days, if nothing else is going on and there's a headliner that really pulls me there, yeah, I would like to try it. We've touched base with a lot of people that go fairly frequently, so I could probably find a crew there and go. I would like to see it for myself. I think what they do on their main stage is probably the biggest, coolest, most produced, whatever you want to call it, in the world. I don't think I'll realistically ever go over to Glastonbury as much as I'd like to. I just don't think I could deal with the Glastonbury weather.
It's the weather.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that'd be fun to go. I just can't deal with it being like 60 and damp. That sounds no fun.
I would literally roll over and die.
I would be miserable. I
would roll over and die.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to bring that up and see what you thought, since it's timely right now, since we're kind of in the middle of Coachella season for these 2 weeks. So
It's a season?
well, they do 2 weekends.
That don't make it a season.
Well, I just made that up. It is now that I made that up. Anyways, guys, we got some fun content coming up in the next couple of weeks. We've been plotting out a lot in these last 2 months before we get to Rue. Like I mentioned earlier, it looks like we're going to get the schedule released this week, so there might be a small bonus episode where we dive into that and try to plot out everything and cry over the conflicts and stuff. I'm begging you, Brad, please don't put Justice Gets King Giz. I know it's probably going to happen, but so many hearts are going to be broken. But we shall see. Hopefully Tuesday, maybe Wednesday or Thursday. I don't know.
Justice is playing on a witch stage.
Yeah, I wish they would play on what?
They're going to play on the witch
I know
stage.
they're going to play on which, but I wish they would play on what. I think that's a lost opportunity. But we'll talk about that when the schedule comes out. Yeah?
That's all I got.
That's all you got. Okay. Good. Since you told me that, I don't have to ask you that this week. All right, guys. Maybe we'll see you later this week to talk about the schedule. But until then, you know the deal. Thank you, Truman. Get out there and radiate positivity.
Bye.